Hi guys, it's Joy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've done any cooking or baking on this channel, so I thought it would be a fun idea if I showed you guys one of my favorite healthy dessert high protein recipes. If I had to put a name to it, they're kind of like banana balls, but in a brownie pudding form.
Ooh.
Brownie pudding went super viral a few months ago by Ina Garden. It's basically like a brownie, but super ooey gooey and almost like pudding consistency. I've done this recipe as little truffle balls before, and recently I just experimented and made it in like a sheet cake form instead, and it reminded me of the viral brownie pudding, so I figured I'd show this recipe with you guys. I usually make it once a week or every other week as my sweet treat, and it's such a good dessert, so let's jump into it. So the first thing you're going to need are 2 very brown bananas. Just like how for a lot of other desserts like banana bread, the more brown the banana is, the more soft, the sweeter it will be, so I prefer brown bananas for this. Other ingredients we will need will be your nut butter of choice, some sort of chocolate protein powder or collagen powder. I'm sure you can make this with a different flavor protein powder as well, but personally I think chocolate, banana, and peanut butter goes the best together, so that's normally what I use.
Yes!
Also almond flour and coconut flour. And for the top coating we will be using semi-sweet chocolate chips and coconut oil. Alright, so our first step is we're going to mash our bananas up to a smooth consistency with a fork. Now that our bananas are super mashed up, we're just going to add the rest of our ingredients into this bowl and mush it all together. I normally eyeball these ingredients until the texture is a little bit thicker, almost like cookie dough texture. It's also very hot and warm in my apartment, so the bananas are extra liquidy. The peanut butter makes it a little bit more liquidy as well, so you can always add more protein powder, almond flour to balance everything out. But first I start with just 1 scoop of peanut butter. Guys, as you can see, I had to go back and add a little bit more almond flour and coconut flour, but I'm pretty happy with this consistency. It's like a good cross between a dough and brownie batter. I'd say if you plan on rolling this into balls, then I would try to get it to be a little bit thicker than this, or at least put it in the fridge so it can harden and solidify before trying to shape it. But since we are being inspired by Ina Garden's brownie pudding, I'd say it's okay to move forward as is. You can even taste it to see if you want to add anything to it. For me, it's the perfect amount of sweetness as is because the bananas were so brown. So the next thing I'm going to do is you can find a Tupperware or baking dish, whichever you prefer to put it in. I'm just going to use this Tupperware, that way I can cover it up for the rest of the week, but I'm going to lay it flat in here as if it's a sheet cake or like a tray of brownies. Alright guys, so I just put the no bake banana brownie batter into the freezer just so that it can solidify slightly, so that when we add our top chocolate layer it doesn't seep through. As you can see, the 2 bananas makes it a decent amount of batter, so make sure you get a container big enough to lay it flat. So this next part is the top layer, and this is probably the easiest part of the recipe. Yay! Take your chocolate of choice. For me, I'll be using semi-sweet chocolate chips, and we're going to melt it down with a spoonful of coconut oil. Coconut oil is really just for melting down chocolate, helping it become a little bit runnier and more melty. Hopefully we also avoid burning the chocolate. I've also used white chocolate with this recipe before, and I think that is super delicious as well. So feel free to have fun and experiment with this recipe. I think a lot of it is up to personal preference. You can even mix 2 chocolates together, be crazy. And once our chocolate is melted, all we really have to do is pour it on top of our banana batter layer and put it back in the freezer to solidify. Alright guys, so that's a wrap on my go-to high protein, healthy, delicious banana dessert inspired both by banana protein balls I've seen by Elle Gibson on TikTok and also by brownie pudding by Ina Garten. I feel like this dessert is the best of both worlds. If you love chocolate, if you love peanut butter, if you love banana, almost like a liquid form of banana bread, and who wouldn't want that? Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any recipes you want me to try, and I'll be back next week with a new video. Bye!